Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us on this beautiful day for the 8th Annual Field of Honor Dedication Ceremony. My name is Mary Sordell, and I'm with the Exchange Club of Greater Newburyport, which sponsors this event. The Field of Honor commemorates those who were lost on 9/11, the first responders who risked their lives to help the victims, those who answered the call to serve our country, and our own personal heroes. This year's theme of honoring past and present pays tribute to both veterans and those who currently serve. Please stand for the presentation of colors by the U.S. Honor Guard and remain standing through the singing of the national anthem. Thank you. Todd Hughes from the Salvation Army will do our opening prayer.
Please join me in a word of prayer. Good and gracious God, we are here today to honor and remember the men and women whose lives are represented by these flags in the Field of Honor. Some had their lives taken too soon by acts of war or terrorism. Some ran towards danger to save others. We remember their bravery and sacrifice today. And as we remember the events of September 11, 2001, our concern and thoughts are also with those in South Texas as they recover from Hurricane Harvey. And our concern and thoughts are with the people in the Caribbean as they recover from Hurricane Irma. And our concern and thoughts are with those in Florida as they are now experiencing this hurricane, and others affected by Hurricane Irma and who will be affected. Lord, we pray for those who will be going to help. We pray for those who will run into the face of danger to save others. We pray for the emergency medical personnel and all those disaster relief people who will go and help. And Lord, we ask that you remind us of the true heart of the nation's people, of this nation's people. May we never forget that when tragedy strikes our nation, we do not focus on nationality or wealth or education or skin color. We focus on need. We focus on humanity and love. And may we never forget the men and women who make the ultimate sacrifice for the people they love and the nation they love. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Please be seated. Thank you. As our first speaker today, I'm pleased to introduce Mayor Donna Holliday. She has been a strong supporter of the Field of Honor and recognizes its importance in honoring our local citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, and welcome. I appreciate all of you being here today. We have gathered today for the Exchange Club's 8th Annual Field of Honor with this year's theme, Honoring Past and Present. The Field of Honor was initiated to honor the victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks, as well as the men and women who have answered this challenge for the peace and security of our nation and the world. Our deepest thanks to all those on active duty, those deployed, and to all of our veterans and families for the sacrifices you have given for our country. Today, I would like to also recognize our first responders, whose work has become increasingly challenging and often dangerous as they are called on to respond to acts of violence and protests across our country. We have stood together as a community too many times in the midst of tragedy, with broken hearts, tears, and disbelief in the violence we have witnessed. 9/11, Sandy Hook, the Boston Marathon, San Bernardino, Orlando, and most recently, Charlottesville. We have all watched in shock at the news feeds from Paris and London and other countries of the level of violence and terrorist acts that are all too frequent. But today, we are here to honor these brave men and women, the first responders who serve in our police and fire departments. No matter what evil takes place in this world, we have witnessed that there are always those whose acts of selflessness, service, and compassion step forward to counter the horrific acts of violence or step forward to assist during disasters. Here in Newburyport, firefighter Connor Clancy just returned from joining an international crew of wildland firefighters to help battle over 1 million acres of fires in British Columbia, Canada. And Coast Guard Commander Paul Rooney, who was recently deployed to Houston to serve as the emergency preparedness liaison between the Coast Guard and FEMA. And just this past weekend, firefighter Fred Elwell was deployed as part of the United States Army Reserve Team in the U.S. Virgin Islands Mass Task Force 1. He may also be deployed to Florida. As a city, we are working on organizing a citywide plan to assist the victims of Harvey and Irma. This will be a long recovery process. We are a resilient people that will never be squelched by tragedy, natural disaster, cynicism, or hopelessness. We must remember that even as we struggle to deal with these senseless acts of violence, we have our first responders who will always step forward to protect us. Please also remember the powerful words of Nelson Mandela. No one is born hating another because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. And as times like this happen across our country, we are reminded that we have so much more in common to unite us than divide us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Holliday. As a Vietnam veteran himself and Director of Veterans Affairs in the greater Newburyport area, no one knows better than Kevin Hunt the challenges faced by our veterans when they come home. Please welcome Kevin as our next speaker.
Thank you, Mary. Our prayers to the brothers and sisters in the South, as Major Todd said. Before I begin, I'm just going to go through a few collected thoughts, but I do want to stop the wind. I do want to give a shout out to gentlemen in the audience. All of us for the last 20 years at least have gone past flagpoles, and we have noted that below the American flag on the flagpole is a POW MIA flag. We take it for granted. But that flag started someplace, and the gentleman who started it, along with one other gentleman, is here with us today. His name is Dudley Farquhar. Dudley, I'd like you to just stand up and take a little hand from the audience. Quick history on that. He and Harry Perkins decided that would be a good idea, and for 12 years they kept petitioning the Massachusetts legislature and the governor, and finally in 1987, was it? 86. Governor Dukakis okayed it, and other states thought that was a good idea, and it just spread throughout the country. You know, there's a Chinese curse. It says, "May you live in interesting times." I think we are living in interesting times. You probably agree with me. Before 9/11, we had certain concepts, certain beliefs. These were certain. We knew them to be true. Post 9/11, we have lost that certainty. A haze glazes our vision. Confusion reigns. Chaos feels like it's not far behind. And the certainty that we all experienced is gone. I could list causes. I'm not here to do that. But one thing that changed was an awareness of those who were our protectors and are still our protectors. The people who before 9/11 we took for granted, our guardians. The phrase first responder rose from the ash of the Twin Towers. Before 9/11, we had firefighters. We had policemen who became police officers. We had EMTs. Before 9/11, we grouped them into a collective. We called them emergency personnel. They were there, but they were in the background, unrecognized. When we watched the television that day, and for days after, we saw EMTs forced to decide who gets treated first. Battlefield conditions. Perhaps the first EMT ever, the battlefield medic. Today, we are swimming in an ocean of black swans. I pray these special Sundays where we gather and share like we do today, I pray that these special Sundays continue to honor something that happened a while ago, not something that just happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. The first Field of Honor in Newburyport in 2010 wouldn't have happened without the sponsorship of the Newburyport 5 Cents Savings Bank, and specifically the support of Richie Eaton. Richie comes out of retirement every year to be present at our dedication ceremony, and we're pleased to introduce him today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. You know, I look out to these flags and it makes me really think of what they represent. A lot of times we see the flag, you see a flag and you realize, you know, it represents the country and the United States and everything else. And I'll tell you, Thursday night it really hit home. I'm coming back Thursday night from the Patriots game, actually 2 o'clock Friday morning. And we drove by it, we dropped Lucian off, and I come up the street and you see all these flags here at night. And it is an awesome sight with the spotlights on them. If you haven't had a chance to see them at night, you really can appreciate what it is, but the spotlight's on it, and then you realize all of a sudden it hit me, you know, what each one of these flags represents something or someone who's done something that's given us the freedom to do how we live today. You know, those people that gave their lives for our freedom. And we talk about the first responders in 9/11. Now we get the people that are helping out for the hurricanes and everything else, but everybody gives so much of everything. And that's what the flag represents. That's what I think when I see it. And when you see one flag, it doesn't bring it home as much. But when you see this display out here right now, it really gives us time to think and really appreciate what everybody has done and their contributions to assist everyone else without care about their own safety and life. They do it to help everyone else. And that's what I think this represents. And I thank the Exchange Club for continuing to do this every year, and I congratulate them, and I hope they continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Richie. Now we have our state senator, Kathleen O'Connor Ives, who has represented the 1st Essex District, including Newburyport and surrounding areas, since 2012. Please welcome Kathleen.
Hello, everyone. It's my honor to join you at this moment. I think it's such an amazing tradition that's been created in Newburyport with the leadership of the Newburyport Exchange Club. And it really forces me to recognize what a special place we live in here in this city and in this state. And there's 2 things I want to touch upon right now. One is that when we look at these flags, and they do symbolize sacrifice of our servicemen and women and the loss endured by military families. They, when they signed up to serve our country and when they fought with dignity and honor, were protecting our freedom. And we here in Newburyport, day in and day out, experience that freedom, enjoy that freedom, and I'm mindful of exactly what it was that they were fighting for. And it's a call to us, when we really focus on honoring that sacrifice, to be that best version of ourselves as Americans, in terms of how we treat each other, in terms of how we focus on our families and our friends and our neighbors, and how we make sure that the freedom, whether it's through the vote or our ability to speak up when we see something wrong, or to participate in the political process in our communities, is never taken for granted. That's the privilege that we have that they do not have anymore. The second thing I want to talk about is the matter of our individual responsibilities. We all have different roles to play in our communities, but I feel very strongly that we all are able to contribute by using our unique talents and strengths and experiences. So whether you're a nurse, a teacher, a mom, a grandparent, a farmer, a state senator, I know that in my office I have very specific responsibilities, and I better live up to that. And that is to ensure that state funding is maintained and increased to support our veterans in the Commonwealth. As well, there are a number of bills pending before the legislature that can help our veterans in very concrete ways, whether it's access to housing that's affordable, or access to education, or for our military families to not have to deal with red tape when they get the benefits that belong to them. It's also important when the phone rings and our veterans need constituent services, whether it's insurance, access to health care, making a mortgage payment. My responsibilities are clearly defined. But as we listen to the radio and the TV and social media and now see the prospect of a new war looming again, it's our communal responsibility as Americans to hold our federal elected officials accountable when they make that life and death decision as to whether or not we enter into another war. So I hope that if and when that does happen, we as a country will rally and make sure that the right decisions are made so that there is no unnecessary loss of civilian or military life. As always, it's my sincere honor to spend this day here with you, and I thank everyone who put this together.
Thank you, Kathleen. Our state representative, James Kelcourse, is also here this afternoon. He represents Newburyport, Amesbury, and Salisbury, and has been a representative since 2014. So please welcome James. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to first of all, I just want to thank the Exchange Club for this wonderful event each and every year. You know, we have so many events in this. We're fortunate to have so many events in this district, and this is by far one of my favorites. Each and every year I look out onto this field of honor and I think about the brave men and women serving in our military who have given me the privilege and the honor of serving the 40,000 in this district in the State House. I was privileged the other night to join many members of our Newburyport Fire Department at the State House as we recognized Tony Raven, a fallen firefighter who gave his life in the service of duty. And it truly was a moving ceremony and a privilege and an honor to be there with his wife Mary and two sons, Will and Matt. You know, we are just so lucky to be living in such a terrific district. As you know, the others before me came up here and spoke about, you know, there's just so much happening, social media, on the news, natural disasters, wars throughout the world, turmoil. We're just very, very lucky to be living in such a wonderful community, such as Newburyport. And the people of this great city and surrounding communities are just so quick to jump in and help in the time of need. Whether it's Our Neighbor's Table, they had an event yesterday here at Cashman Park in Newburyport, and raising money to help homeless veterans living in the area, whether it's the Pettingill House, the wonderful religious, the churches that we have here in the community that are so willing to reach out, the Salvation Army, and support people in time of need. We're just very, very lucky to have that kind of community that we live in here. So I want to thank all of you for the great privilege to be on the stage and to be joining in the ceremony with you today. And again, thank you to the men and women, to the first responders, to the Exchange Club, to all of you for these types of events and for all that you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. We really want to welcome and thank the Merrimack Valley Concert Band. They're going to do a musical selection for us now. Thanking our troops one flight at a time is a fitting motto for Peace Greeters, which was started and is supported by local volunteers to welcome troops passing through Pease Air Force Base. Every service member who passes through Pease is treated like a hero, and when they leave, they know their service is appreciated. Our scheduled keynote speaker, Charles Cove, chairman of Peace Greeters, could not make it today due to an illness. In his place, we're pleased to have another Peace Greeter, Dick McCollum. He is a veteran of both World War II, where he served in the Coast Guard, and the Korean War, where he served in the Navy. Please welcome Mr. McCollum as he shares more about this very worthy organization.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Told you what we all do. Basically what we do is when the troops come through from overseas, or if they're going overseas, we greet them with handshakes. We have them come down and we feed them with coffee, cold drinks, candy. Lynn Springley, I give a lot of credit to. They donate all the candy that we give out. And we have card games for them and puzzles for them if they're going overseas. And on their way home, we have stuffed animals that they can take back to their children. And then we have a ceremony. We have a group picture taken for all the troops and DOD. And lots of times we have the four-legged friends that come through that help in the war on terror. We have the national anthem. We have a prayer. We have a chaplain. And if our chaplain doesn't happen to be there that night, or if there's a chaplain with the troops, we have them give the prayer. And a little history about how this all started. In 2005, there were 135 soldiers going into harm's way on their way to Iraq. Bill Harper, who was the airport manager, said, in no way are we going to have 135 of our men and women going overseas without a send-off. He called all the department heads on the base. And he told them, you're all still on the clock. I want you to go out, get some coffee and donuts, and come over here, and we will greet these troops as they leave. Well, after that took place, Bill said, I think I better get in touch with the Department of Defense and find out if we're going to have any more flights coming through Pease. Well, sure enough, they told him, we will have more flights coming through. And he got in touch with the Marine Corps League, the Veterans of Foreign War, the American Legion, and other organizations, and put together a program so that we could greet these people. As of today, the 10th of September, We have our 174th flight came in this morning. We have done 1,288 flights since 2005 to 2017. And this afternoon we have another flight coming in. And at 9:35 tonight we have another flight coming in. And we're so happy to do this for the troops and the DOD and the people that serve our country overseas. What we do, we give them phone cards, and because we feel that no serviceman should have to pay for a call home while he's overseas. And the next thing we do, we give them a star. This star may have come off one of your own home, or one of your neighbor's home, or came from a state far away. First of all, we had stars coming through mostly from Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire, and now we get stars coming in from all over the world. And on the back of this, it says, "I am part of our American flag. I have flown over a home in the USA. I can no longer fly. The sun and the winds have caused me to become tattered and torn. Please remind me and carry me as a reminder that you are not forgotten." I have brought close to 500 stars with me today. I would like to have everybody in the audience and anybody around to take a star. If you have a friend in the service or a veteran, take one for him or another member of your family. And this is the least we can do. And I also have some information about the Peace Greeters, which you are welcome to have. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dick. Peace Greeters is always looking for volunteers, so you can talk to Dick or get on their website. I know some of our club members have gone to welcome home or send off troops, and they've come back and said it's one of the most moving experiences they've ever had. So always looking for volunteers. This past year, Exchange lost a long-time dedicated member of our club, Tony Fusco. Fellow member Stuart Dean will share remembrance for our friend Tony.
My role today, of course, is to represent the club in acknowledging Tony for his service. Exchange is a service club, so we serve others. But the other half of the equation is the friendship that we develop amongst ourselves in providing that service. Tony Fusco is a great friend of ours. He was a member of the Exchange Club for more than 30 years. When the need arose, he served a second term as our club president. He was one of two members from the local club in 42 years to go on and serve as New England District President. He also served on the board of the Family and Support Center in Lawrence, that is the representative for the Merrimack Valley Club's Child Abuse Prevention. That headquarters is again in Lawrence. In Lawrence, Tony's family owned and operated Tripoli's Bakery. And as part of that bakery and living in Lawrence, he was part of the St. Alfio Society. And I'm not sure if there are representatives today. There they are over there in the back row in the white shirts. St. Alfio Society, as I understand it, is a group dedicated to the heritage of the Italian people from where they came in Italy. If I'm wrong with that, please let me know. Good enough? Thank you. We're all going to miss Tony, but he's not to be forgotten. We're dedicating our annual scholarship at Pentucket Regional to Tony. It will heretofore be known as the Anthony J. Fusco Community Service Scholarship, and each June we'll be presenting that at one of our club meetings. Representative Lenny Mura, representing West Newbury, has a commendation for Tony's family. After he speaks, would one member of the family, maybe Michael, come up and accept a plaque of appreciation for Tony and also the commendation from Representative Mura. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out on such a beautiful day for such a wonderful event. Looking around at the events going around the country with a hurricane coming up the coast, it just reminds us all of how important our first responders are. They're the people working in the background, people you don't often hear of, and it's truly a wonderful event to give notice to them and to give attention to people who perhaps are in the background and do not get noticed. So I have with me today a citation from the House of Representatives. I'd like to read from it. Be it here by known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers sincerest congratulations to Anthony J. Fusco for your 30 years of dedicated service to the Exchange Club of Greater Newburyport, the New England District Exchange Club, and the Michael B. Christensen Community and Family Support Center. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. And it's given this 10th day of September, signed by Robert DeLeo, the Speaker of the House, and by myself, Leonard Mura, State Representative. Thank you.
At the end of the ceremony, we'd also like to invite the Fusco family. I see Dawn is here and children and grandchildren. At flag number 1, we'd like to donate that to Tony in memory of his service to our club. So thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Stuart. Now we'll proceed with the reading of our verbal law.
I respectfully submit the following. In memory of Anthony J. Fusco, a devoted member of the Exchange Club family and a dear friend. In honor of Lucian and Judy LaCroix for their many years of service to our Greater Newburyport community. In honor of Charles E. Cove for his work in organizing and sustaining the Peas Greeters program. In memory of Stephen Coakley, Engine 217, September 11th, 2001. Never forget those who went up when others were coming down. In memory of Ray Clarkson, United States Air Force, proudly served. In memory of Donald Wilkinson, James Anthony Allen, United States Army veteran. In memory of George Dupreez, love, George, Sarah, and Gigi. In memory of Walter Goodrich, thank you for your service. You are missed. In memory of Paul Floyd Tashot, Seabee, Navy, career, great brother and friend. In memory of Richard J. Japak, loving father and Jeju, service before self. Love, Anthony, Kelly, and Owen. All Newburyport veterans. In memory of Lieutenant Colonel Jamie E. Leonard, thank you for your service and bravery. In memory of Edward V. Del Nino, always in our thoughts and prayers. We miss you and love you. In honor of Benjamin Vigneault, United States Marine Corps, we are proud of you. God bless. Love, Mom and Dad.
In memory of First Lieutenant Derek Hines, in memory of Sergeant Jordan Shea, in memory of those individuals who perished in the planes during the 9/11 attack, to all who served to keep us free, in memory to all who made the ultimate sacrifice, grateful for our freedom, home of the free because of the brave. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you gave. God bless America. To all veterans and their families who have given their lives to keep us free, in memory of Michael T. Roy, we love you. In honor of our elected officials, in honor of our brave firefighters, in honor of all our first responders, in honor of all our servicemen and servicewomen.
In memory of all those who made the ultimate sacrifice, in honor of all those dedicated police personnel, dedicated in loving memory of all firefighters, first responders who sacrificed their lives, dedicated in loving memory of all police first responders who sacrificed their lives, dedicated in loving memory of all ambulance first responders who sacrificed their lives, dedicated to all servicemen and women of Newburyport, dedicated to all service women and men of Newburyport. In memory of Gerald Joseph Lebrecht, we love and miss you, Dad and Granddad. In memory of Paul Quinlan, Navy father. In honor of the courageous, we'll never forget your friends at Haverhill Bank. If we learn nothing else from this, we learn that life is short and there is no time for hate. Sandy Dahl. To all men and women serving our country, thank you for your service, STEM Chemical. To all first responders, thank you for keeping our community safe, STEM Chemical. In memory of Timothy Oliveira, Salisbury Fire Department, line of duty. In memory of George A. Florent, Haverhill, Mass., United States Navy, World War II.
In memory of Stephen F. Rowe, Wakefield, Mass., United States Marines, Afghanistan. In memory of Michael C. Rowe, Wakefield, Mass., United States Navy, Afghanistan. In memory of Gerald F. Larson, Newburyport, Mass., United States Army, World War II, Battle of the Bulge, Bronze Star. In memory of Derek Hines, United States Army. In memory of Jordan Shea, United States Army. In honor of Paul Larson, Rumford, Maine, United States Army, Korean War. In memory of Edward H. Nealon, Kingston, New Hampshire, United States Army, Korean War. In memory of Staff Sergeant John R. Mills, Boston, Mass., United States Army, United States Air Force, Vietnam, 3 tours. Harry Anderson, United States Coast Guard. Robert Anderson, United States Air Force. Douglas Anderson, United States Navy. And Jacob Anderson, United States Army. DeForest Mickey Hunt, United States Army, Korean War veteran. Christopher Lindbergh, MA3 Master at Arms, United States Navy, 5 years service, Guantanamo Bay. Alfie Caron, Corporal, United States Army, World War II. Purple Heart recipient, Valmore Caron, Corporal, United States Army, World War II. Malcolm T. Spaulding, BM1, United States Coast Guard, United States Navy, and Merchant Marines. James Leonard, United States Marines, Vietnam. And Connor M. Clancy, Newburyport firefighter, first responder.
Andrew Pierce, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Air Force. Kelly E. Robinson, Jr., Corporal, U.S. Army, World War II. Jason J. Welch, Army Combat Veteran. Many voices, one country. Many voices, one country. Many voices, one country. Never forget 9/11/2001. In memory of all the lives lost on 9/11/01. God bless America. In memory of James Palin, who died while serving in World War II, the Palin family. In honor of Fred Palin, who served our country during World War II, the Palin family. In memory of the deceased members of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, Division 1, Newburyport. In memory of the deceased members of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, Division 1, Newburyport. Thank you for serving our country. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for always being there.
In memory of Frank P. Lombardi. In honor of Benjamin, Sammy, Ella, and Sydney. In memory of Walter Curran, United States Army, World War II, with love from Patty, Ned, and family. In order of Edward Giadul, survivor, September 11th, World Trade Center. In memory of Walter Giadul, Mass Maritime and United States Merchant Marine, World War II. In memory of Joseph Giadul, U.S. Navy, World War II. In memory of Zygmunt Regal, United States Marines, Korea. In honor of James Giadul, United States Coast Guard Academy, past Commander, Newburyport Coast Guard Station. In honor of David Lloyd, Vietnam. In honor of Ron Arabin, veteran. In memory of Robert McGrath, United States Army, World War II. In honor of First Lieutenant Derek Hines, United States Army, Newburyport remembers.
I've never done this before, so it'd be a pleasure. Frank Ventura, Newburyport Lions Club, Community Service. Paul O'Neill, Newburyport Lions Club, Community Service. George Lawrence, Community Service, Newburyport Lions. Arthur H. Hudson, Army, Korean Conquest. Member Troy Hudson, Hannah, Army, War II, Bronze Star, Mentor Middle. A memory of Hammer Hayes for bravery and racism. Memorial of a memory of those who lost in 9/11. Memory of Tony Fusco, given me in. Honor of Newburyport Lions Club. Honor of Sergeant Todd Carpenter, proudly serves his country. My memory of Sergeant Raymond Perkins, served in country proudly. Member of Phil Custer, service World War II. Memory of Sergeant Staff Alice Grusin, 180th Infantry, 44th Division, U.S. Army.
In memory of Jim Gaines, Navy veteran, father, brother, and friend to everyone he interacted. Our thoughts and prayers to all those affected by Hurricane Harvey. Stay safe. In memory of William Sheehan, U.S. Navy, World War II. Our thoughts and prayers to all those affected by Hurricane Irma. Be safe. In honor of Dick McCallum, United States Coast Guard, World War II, United States Navy, Korean War. Thank you for being our keynote speaker for 2017. In memory of Arthur S. Page, Jr. In honor of John H. Bradley, Jr. In honor of David P. Conti. In honor of Sidney D. Thurlow. In loving memory of Joseph E. Halley, loving father and true patriot. We miss you every day. In memory of Fred, we are proud of your service. In memory of Tommy Foxon, Robert Hayes Amesbury, Sergeant Chad Elliott Jensen, 2nd Raider Battalion, Special Operations Command, United States Marine Corps. Never above you, never below you, always beside you. We will miss you. Sergeant Chad Elliott Jensen, thank you for your service. In honor of Dr. Kevin Lamphere, to a wonderful patriot, father, and husband, and to all who serve.
Private Richard Ames, Army, World War II, Normandy, June 1944. In memory of Leroy Snow Jr., thanks for your service, Dad, Navy, World War II. In memory of World Trade Center losses to Aeon's 176 employees lost in 9/11 and those 68 who worked for me. In memory of Sergeant Jordan M. Shea, loved and missed by many. In memory of Henry Boothroyd, brother. In memory of Mary Boothroyd, mother. In memory of Mary Albert, we miss you very much. William, Andrew, James, Catherine, Stephen, and Peter. In honor of Sergeant Edward Dix, United States Marine Corps Reserve, Semper Fi, Ed. In memory of Chief Petty Officer Gilbert Lane. In memory of Charles W. Smith. In memory of Suzanne J. Lane. In memory of Michael Toomey. In memory of Bernard Rowan, the best dad, gave 5 years of his life to destroy tyranny. May we live in peace with one another. In honor of Francis X. Barbineau, United States Navy, Air Corps, World War II. The American Soldier. In memory of Dennis Clark, Merrimack, Mass., father, brother, fisherman, Highwayman, Marine, Semper Fi, brother.
In memory of Papa Steve, love, Stacy Jr. and Trinity Rose. in honor of 2nd Lieutenant Ashok James Yala. Very proud of you all and all that you do. Thank you for serving. Love, Mom and Dad. In memory of Erin O'Brien, my lovely daughter, a veteran of the Iraq War who died this year from the effects of PTSD. In honor of Specialist Chris Adams, currently serving in Afghanistan, 2nd tour. In memory of David O'Connell, number 185. And in the words of the boss, I'll wait for you, and should you fall behind, wait for me. Captain Matt Condi, thank you for your service. First Lieutenant Derek Stephen Hines, love, Mom and Dad. To the Hines and Ouellette family. In memory of Thomas Collins, always in my heart. In memory of John Chasen, miss you, Uncle John. Thank you for your service. In memory of Charles Bud Dolan. In memory of James G. Perkins, Jr. In memory of Paul Kiska, 1st Infantry Division, 1942 to 1945. Love, your daughter Suzanne. In honor of R.J. Severson, welcome, baby boy. In memory of 1st Lieutenant Derek Hines. In memory of Sergeant Jordan M. Shea.
In memory of Anthony J. Fusco, my brother, my friend, my hero, your loved and missed Rose. In memory of Herb and Ginny Van Ness, to veterans of all wars, with our deepest gratitude for your service. In memory of those who lost their lives in 9/11. In loving memory of my dad, Ben Griffith Jr., who could not serve in World War II, but chose to serve in many other ways. In memory of Don Watson, soldier, husband, father, friend. In loving memory of Evelyn, Catherine, Aunt Honey, Frost Howe. In memory of Francis N. Moak, a true gentleman dedicated to country and family. In memory of PFC Gordon J. Norman, forever in our hearts. In honor of 1st Lieutenant Thomas Russell, U.S. Army, rest easy. In honor of all cancer survivors, keep up the fight. In honor of all Yankee homecoming volunteers, thank you for your hard work, dedication. Your help keeps the tradition alive. In memory of Cosmo J. DiBiase, veteran U.S. Army. In memory of Charlie Lewandowski and Alton Doyle, thank you for all you've done for all of us. You are my hero. In honor of Richard H. Gray, serving his country during World War II.
In honor of Philemon E. Truesdale. In honor of Robert White, thank you for your service. Love, Carolyn, Eleanor, and Mike. In honor of Bob McKinley, Air Force veteran, brother, dementia patient at VA Hospital. Love, Donna. In honor of SFC Charles Lee, U.S. Army, thank you for your service. In memory of Sergeant Dylan Fox, killed in action February 4th, 2010, Hot, Afghanistan. We love you and miss you, airborne, all the way. In memory of Billy G. Ferrick and Herman A. Ferrick, much missed by family. In honor of SMS Dale H. Snowden, Jr. In memory of Jack Castro. In honor of Lori DeWitt, Commander, U.S. Navy. Doug DeWitt, retired Lieutenant Colonel, United States Marine Corps. Hollis DeWitt, U.S. Marines. Thank you for your service. In loving memory of Robert Savage, Ron McGee, and Ricky Tibbett, thank you for your service.
in honor of Lieutenant Timothy Keegan O'Sullivan, U.S. Navy. In memory of Wayne F. Stadelmeyer, love and miss you, Uncle Wayne. In memory of Roger C. Stadelmeyer, to honor a generation of heroes who loved and honored their country with devotion. In memory of Silvio Tonta, MD, 41st Division, Pacific Theater, Silver Star, Bronze Star with cluster.
In memory of James Bennett, U.S. Navy, in honor of Lawrence Bogart, U.S. Air Force, Newburyport, the Fire Department, Charles Bennett, U.S. Army Rangers, Special Forces. In honor of Paul L. Lufkin, Captain, U.S. Marine Corps, and his brother Thomas Lufkin, Lieutenant, U.S. Navy. In memory of Patricia Sortel Orlo, beloved sister. In memory of Joseph Smith, U.S. Air Force pilot, Vietnam. In memory of Don Zickenfuss, U.S. Navy, and Nelson Nugent, U.S. Marines, Korean War. Love you and miss you both, Deb and Dan. In honor of Master Sergeant Michael Chasen, appreciation of your 20 years of service, Special Ops. In honor of Ensign Jocelyn St. Marie, DWO de Monroe, Alameda, California. Love, Mom and Dad. Michael H. Seaman, victim of 9/11, we love you. In memory of John Mad Dog Cahill. In honor of all the first responders and victims of Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. In honor of our uncles Nugent, Jack, and Bill, thank you for your service in the Korean War. God bless America. In loving memory of PFC Eric Courier, missed and loved every day. Killed in action, February 17th, 2010. Love, Dad, and family. Thank you.
And ends the verbal wall. Thank you all for your dedications and memories. I'd like to introduce Barbara Griffith from the Exchange Club. She's going to make a presentation on behalf of the club.
The Book of Golden Deeds is Exchange's highest honor. It is our way of acknowledging people who go above and beyond to serve others, often in the background or anonymously. This year, we have selected a husband and wife team who have each made substantial contributions to making our community a better place in which to live. When you hear their names, you will know why we have made this choice. Lucian and Judy LaCroix have a long list of volunteer services, both as individuals and as a couple. Lucian, himself a United States Army veteran, he has volunteered with Yankee Homecoming since 1984, serving as chair in 1992, co-chair in 2007, and continues on the board of directors and as treasurer. He has been involved with Opportunity Works since the 1980s, co-chairing the Lend a Hand auction and serving on the board of directors and as treasurer. He's a former member, president, and chair of the Kiwanis Club, as well as a coach of local youth baseball teams. And in 2005, the Red Cross honored Lucian as a hero. His colleague was choking, and Lucian, having taken CPR, applied abdominal thrusts, saving his life. Judy, too, has been with Yankee Homecoming since 1984. Chair in 1995, co-chair in 2007, and as a member of the board of directors. She has been involved with Opportunity Works since the 1980s, serving as president of the board of directors for 5 years. For several years, Judy served as hospice attendant. As an employee of the Essex County Sheriff's Department, She created and manages a community outreach program for the developmentally delayed to familiarize them with the department and develop personal traits of positivity, respect, integrity, and self-advocacy. It has become a model for other agencies. Judy has always advocated for the disabled and is a member of the Newburyport Diversity Committee. And for this very ceremony, Judy has been a regular reader for our verbal wall, and Lucian was once called upon to hold down a corner of a tent during a windstorm. No matter what their roles, they always have supported and provided advice for other civic organizations in the area. Lucian and Judy, would you please come up to receive a plaque in acknowledgement of a life well lived in service to others? We would also like you to take flag number 3 as a token of our appreciation. We thank you for all you do.
This was truly a surprise. When we heard our names, you probably saw the two of us wiping our eyes. Back in 74, we adopted this city. We moved here. We chose this city to raise our son Jason. We adopted this city, but soon after this city adopted us. And we started in the late 70s giving to our community. But we have gotten so much back in return from everyone, and we will continue to give back to all of you and this community. Thank you so much for the honor. Thank you.
Thank you both for your service to our community. Just going to close with one brief homecoming story of a little different kind. Please be seated. This is about Joe Smith, who is flag number 182 out in the field. I never met Joe, but I heard stories about him for many years from a close childhood friend. He was born and raised in a small town in central Illinois, went through ROTC training at Notre Dame, trained to be a fighter pilot with the U.S. Air Force, and in 1970 was deployed to Vietnam. In April of 1971, Joe was shot down in a combat mission over Cambodia. His body was not recovered due to heavy fighting at the time. This last February, 46 years after being shot down, the call came and Joe's remains had been found and Joe was coming home. This past July, his childhood friends, college roommates, those who trained and served with Joe came from all over the country to this small town in Illinois to pay tribute to Joe, while he was laid to rest next to his parents. One of those people was Dave Young, who trained with Joe. He's Brigadier General in the U.S. Air Force, retired. He was so overwhelmed by the homecoming and the response of the town that he wrote a letter to the editor of the local paper. And I'd just like to share his sentiments because I think they reflect the way we feel today. This is what Dave wrote. One could only feel an overwhelming sense of pride. Pride for the lengths we go to bring our servicemen and women home, even if half a century has passed. Pride for the way we honor those who have served our country and made the ultimate sacrifice. Pride for the way that in situations like these, there are no political ties, agendas, or differences. We are simply all Americans paying tribute to fellow countrymen and brother in arms. As each of us approached the box holding Smitty's remains and laid Air Force pilot wings, nickels, dimes, and quarters down in the tradition of honoring fellow aviators who had gone west, we knew in our own way that our friend Joe Smith was finally home. Thank you. So this ends the 2017 dedication ceremony for the Field of Honor. I would like to thank the Merrimack Valley Concert Band for their music. The U.S. Coast Guard Honor Guard for presentation of the flag. All our speakers, Dick McCollum for peace greeters, and all our speakers and sponsors. So please feel free to stay, walk around the field, share stories of your loved ones, and enjoy the day. So please join us in singing God Bless America, followed by a final benediction. Thank you. Being called to duty again. You thought you were retired, but no. Everyone, please. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Please join me in a prayer of benediction. Gracious and good God, we thank you for this time we could come together in a time of honor and memory. And our prayer is this: may we all remember with love and compassion. May we all grieve with those who still mourn and share comfort with those who cannot forget. May we all draw strength from those who bravely responded and gave their lives to save others. May we all remember those who bravely respond today and put themselves in harm's way to keep us safe. May we all stand with our neighbors and pray for peace and unity in our world. And above all, God, may we remember your faithfulness and learn to trust in your unfailing love. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.